Since forever, one of the biggest mysteries in League of Legends has been who this C character is, with the only information given to us being that Caitlyn has been continuously hunting for leads on their whereabouts. Let's start this video with one of my favorite League champions, Camille. Camille is a champion shrouded in mystery. In case you did not know, she is several centuries old due to her cyborg body, meaning she has seen a lot of history and probably even made some of it, seeing how her job is mainly focused on assassinating royal and influential people. So it wouldn't be weird if she knew who this C character is, really. Now with the upcoming Swain visual upgrade, straight out of Hogwarts by the way, he is able to hear whispers from his demonic ravens, and what he says to Camille is really intriguing.
My, does your dear grandniece know what C has been up to?
This grandniece of Camille's seems to be her favorite, according to Camille's background story, but who is she actually? When you look at the three most Piltover-like champions, you get Camille, Caitlyn, and Jace. Both Camille and Jace got their clans' names mentioned in the lore, Camille's being Pharaoh's and Jace's being Jayopara. As for Caitlyn, we never actually learn the name of her clan. In Camille's lore, it is said that she installed her niece as a sort of a face of her clan, while Camille is the one who is really in control behind the scenes. This can mean that said grandniece doesn't actually know that Camille is in control, let alone who Camille really is. The ignorant grandniece might be just leaving the management to her servants, or at least she thinks that's what she's doing. So what if Camille's ignorant niece was actually Caitlyn? Although it isn't stated anywhere that Caitlyn took leadership of her clan, it might actually be safe to assume so.
Did Daddy buy you that gun?
As for who C really is, this might sound like a stretch, but hear me out. So while we know that Camille had only one brother, we do not know how many children that brother had. Building upon the previous theory of Caitlyn being related to Camille, that means that Caitlyn was one of his grandchildren, or perhaps even his great-grandchildren, but the great is omitted from the lore because it would be too specific. Since we get no mentions of Caitlyn's siblings or cousins, it is plausible to think that they are insignificant to be mentioned beside a name such as the Sheriff of Piltover, or that she's simply a single child with very few relatives. After reading Camille's lore, we find out that in order to keep her family going and preserve their privilege, she is prepared to do anything, even kill her own brother.
Privilege must be preserved at all costs.
Since her favorite grandniece is called her favorite, that means that there are other ones that happen to be not so favorite. What if one of her brother's children married another wealthy family, thus preserving the family's privilege and prestige, of course, and giving birth to the perfect heir, Camille's favorite grandniece, Caitlyn? While her brother's other child fell in love with a Zonite and they eloped together. Being the person she is, Camille could not allow another heir born of Zonite blood to suddenly appear one day and contest against her grandniece, since that would make it harder for her to be able to manipulate the clan behind the scenes. So the natural thing to do is to find the couple who eloped and murder them, burying away their existence. But by the time Camille had found them, they already had a child, and although she mercilessly murdered them both, she felt pity on the child, knowing that she wouldn't remember her parents anyway, so why not just leave her behind in Zon? And scrolling through League Champions' backgrounds, guess who just happens to be from a Zonite orphanage while not remembering her past? The Piltover enforcer, Vi. Think about it. She's in the same age range as Caitlyn, they both have blue eyes, and her feet led her towards Piltover eventually anyway, not to mention the brutal line Camille says to Vi, that is,
Ever wonder how you became an orphan?
Now with this type of theory, you would think, why wouldn't Camille just dispose of Vi once she found out that she returned to Piltover? Wouldn't everyone eventually find out about Vi's lineage? And the answer to that question lies in Camille's other lines towards Vi. Put yourself in Camille's shoes. A person who has lived for centuries no longer thinks for just the few fleeting years ahead. She plans for the centuries to come. What Camille most likely plans to do is reveal Vi's lineage to her when she sees that she has matured enough, thus allowing her to take over as the assassin behind the scenes, the way Camille is now. Since as we can see, Vi is still far too inexperienced and not to mention reckless. The reason why she would choose Vi for this position is because the girl is already adapting to the use of technology as body parts, her gauntlets, which will allow her to adapt much faster should she perform the same surgery Camille underwent long ago.
Watch it, girl. I am your future.
And of course her observation of Vi's inexperience.
So direct, like most fools. It's like looking into a crude, boorish mirror.
Since Camille herself was rather inexperienced or a fool, being swayed by emotions such as love and the like. Moving on. In Caitlyn's background story, it is stated that one day she came back home to find it ransacked and everything stolen. When she looked for clues, she found the criminals one by one, each only giving away the information that the orders were given to them by C. And when Caitlyn finally reached the location where her parents were kept, it turned out that they were forced to work in a hextech laboratory for a rival clan. Caitlyn rescued her parents and the leaders of said rival clan were arrested by the wardens. But honestly, this story seems too strange to be true. The entire thing seems fabricated. What if Camille wanted the new face of her clan, Caitlyn, to gain more influence and fame by causing an incident where she would come out victorious? The fishy things about this entire incident start right from the beginning. If the robbers were a rival clan, there is absolutely no way they wouldn't know about the clan's daughter, who just happened to be missing. The timing of the robbery was far too perfect, when Caitlyn was out of the house, so she, and everybody else, wouldn't discover that the story is just one big play created by Camille. Second flaw is, even if Caitlyn just happened to be out when the robbery happened, why didn't they just leave a few men behind to kidnap her when she came back? Wouldn't her parents be more willing to listen to them if the rival clan had kidnapped their precious daughter, Caitlyn, as hostage? Third flaw is, why would you kidnap an extremely rich couple and have them work, of all things, instead of taking them as hostage and demanding money in return? Heck, making them work is a bad idea in itself, since I'm willing to bet that they had no idea what they were doing, since their servants probably did all the work for them. Fourth flaw is the entire thing went too smoothly, the criminals and clues appearing before Caitlyn one by one, as if she was some mouse led by small pieces of cheese to eventually reach her destination. Final flaw is the fact that it ended way too happily. You would expect a secret hextech laboratory to have some powerful weapons and protection, but it wouldn't do to have Caitlyn injured or damaged mentally by any of her parents' deaths, since she is, after all, Camille's favorite niece. So what was the outcome of this whole incident? Caitlyn gaining fame as the brave young girl who rescued her parents from kidnappers by tracing clues like a professional detective, discovered a hextech laboratory that she will most likely take over, and not to mention utterly crushed the rival clan that kidnapped her parents, meaning that her own clan will gain much more influence, privilege, and prestige. Sounds familiar?
Privilege must be preserved at all costs.
The C behind the kidnappings was the first letter of Camille's name. She was the one who gave the order to the rival clan to perform the stunt. The way she forced them to do it can vary a lot, really. Blackmail, hostages, threats. I can think of anything, really, since that is the kind of character she is. However, after the incident was resolved, Caitlyn wasn't satisfied with the results and pressed on looking for this C character, which displeased Camille, since that wouldn't benefit her or the clan at all. Knowing Caitlyn's justice-driven character, Thus comes Camille's following quote.
Don't go looking for something you don't want to find.
And if you look at Swain's quote yet again, it can be seen in a totally different light.
My, does your dear grandniece know what C has been up to?
Notice how his tone changes when he says C. This could be a way to mess with Camille by subtly hinting to the truth, which he knows because of the raven's whispers. It's like he's saying, I know that you're actually C, and I can tell your dear grandniece, so watch it. I personally want to believe this theory, because Camille just seems like a puppet master kind of character, which honestly just enhances her character for me. Now I want to go and main her all over again. But hey, that's just No, let's not steal other people's catchphrases.